Hello everybody, this is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, Exodus chapter 2. If you'd like me to come speak at your church, or if you have any questions, you can email me at godsohman@gmail.com. Exodus 2 verse 1. And there went a man out of the house of Levi, and took to his wife a daughter of Levi. So this right here is the genealogy of Abraham and his descendants. And you can see it went from Abram down to Sarah, down to Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. Went to Joseph. Joseph had a wife. She had 2 kids, and that's basically where Joseph came from, and that's why we're in Egypt right now. You can see here's Levi. He's one of the sons of Rachel here, or sons of Leah here. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw him, he was a godly child, so she hid him for 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bushels and dubbed it with slime and with pitch. She's basically making a raft, and she's putting slime and pitch in there so it keeps it safe and it's waterproof. And she put the child therein, and she laid it with flags on the river bank. And his sister stood afar off and knew what would be done with him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. Notice it said when she saw. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, "This is one of the Hebrew children." On Matthew 9, it says, "And Jesus went about the cities and villages, teaching their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and with every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted, and they were scattered abroad, as sheep having no shepherd." You know, it's important that we look at our surroundings and we see what's going on. If it wasn't for the Pharaoh's daughter seeing the child, or the maiden seeing the child, or Jesus seeing the multitude and had compassion, they would never know what's going on. You know, in Genesis 16:4, it says when she saw, 16:5 when she saw, 18:2 when they saw them, 24:30 when he saw Jacob, 26:8, Amalek king of the Philistines looked out the window and he saw. Matthew, when the Pharisees saw, when the disciples saw, when he saw. It's all about looking at your surroundings and seeing what's going on around you. You know, the purpose of a baby's crib, mobile, is to distract the baby's attention. They get kind of confused. They're like, "Oh, look at that." And then they're kind of distracted by what's going on in their life. The purpose of video games is to distract people's attention from reality of life. You know, there's actually professional teams that do video games as well. And the idea is just to distract you from reality. You know, the communist rules for revolution, it's got a couple different things on there. And it says here, if you look at number A, corrupt the young and get them away from religion, get them interested in sex, make them superficial, destroy their ruggedness, basically make them not be children, get them to grow up faster, get rid of religion, make them think about pleasures and things like that. B, it says, get control of all means of publicly thereof. Number 1, get people's minds off the government by focusing their attention on athletics, sexy books, and plays, and other trivialities. The idea is to get your mind off of what's going on around you so they can come in and they can destroy you. The purpose of video games is to distract people's attention, to get your mind off of reality. The purpose of sports is to distract people's attention, get your mind off reality, to distract you from what's really going on in your life. Down here, 3, destroy the people's faith in their natural leaders by holding the latter up for contempt, ridicule, or obligatory. Number 4, always preach true democracy, but seize power as fast and ruthlessly as possible. 5, by encouraging government extravagance, destroy the credit, produce fuel of inflation with rising prices and general discontent. 6, promote unnecessary strikes in vital industries, encourage civil disorders, and foster a lenient and soft attitude with the part of the government towards such disorders. 7, by spacious argument, cause a breakdown of the old moral values, honesty and sobriety. Think about what's going on here in America. They're distracting us with games and sports and all this different stuff in the media. They're trying to get rid of religion. Number 3, it says destroy people's faith in their leaders. They destroy Trump. They're destroying Biden right now. Make them think that the government's inept. They want to get rid of the Senate. They want to get rid of the filibuster. They want to have all these different crazy rules. Number 4, always preach true democracy but seize power. They're always saying that we have your back. We're the voice of the people, but then they go behind your back and they try to steal power. Number 5, basically make them think that the government is this entity that's going to take care of you. They're going to destroy credit, reduce fear by inflation and rising prices, general discontent. They want to tell you that, the whole world's falling apart, but you can look to us, the government, to help you. 6, promote unnecessary strikes in vital industries and encourage civil disorders and foster lenience. When Black Lives Matter was protesting, they said, hey, it's the right to do that. We had a January 6th riot. We had all these different things going on, and it says that the government's supposed to be soft and lenient on that. Number 7, spacious argument causes a breakdown of the world moral values, honesty and sobriety. They're wanting to get rid of the nuclear family. They're wanting to get rid of the basically straight people. They want to focus on transgenderism. They want to focus on homosexuality. They want to get rid of the nuclear family. They want to get rid of the Bible, which is an old moral value. They want to sit there and just focus on all these different things. And I wanted you to see also, cause a registration of all firearms on some police checks with a view of confiscating them and leaving the population helpless. They want to take away your guns, and that way you can't defend yourself. Does this kind of sound familiar to anybody? Exodus 2:7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse out of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And the Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it, and the child grew up, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and she became her son. And she called his name Moses. So she said, because I drew him out of the water. So the Pharaoh's daughter finds this Hebrew girl, who happens to be Moses' sister, and says, I need a Hebrew woman to take care of this child. So this girl goes back to her mom, who's Moses' mother, and says, Mom, this Pharaoh lady found our brother, and she wants to pay you, the mother, to take care of it. And so the sister here, the daughter, basically is having the government pay the mom. And if you guys don't know, what happened was there was a decree that went out that all the men are supposed to be basically killed. Remember, if you read in Exodus 50, they said that all the boys that were born had to basically die. And so they're going to kill Moses anyway. So the mom tried to put him in the river to save it. And so because of this is going on, Moses is being saved because of it. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out to his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. So Moses is growing up in this Egyptian society, and he sees how the Egyptians are basically treating the Jews as a slave, and he knows he's a Jew, and he doesn't like this so much, so he kills the Egyptian, and then he hid his body in the sand because he was ashamed. And he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together, and they said to him what they did wrong. Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee prince and judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is now known. So these 2 Hebrew men were basically messing with him, saying, what are you going to do? You going to try to kill us like you killed that guy yesterday? Well, Moses got kind of scared, so he decided to leave. Now when Pharaoh heard these things, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. So Pharaoh heard that this guy Moses killed one of his Egyptian men, and so he wanted to get rid of Moses. And so Moses fled to Midian. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. So Moses is sitting by this well, and these 7 daughters came by to get water. Some shepherds tried to get rid of them, but Moses protected the ladies. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, "How is it that you come so soon to this day?" Reuel is also named Jericho. Reuel is also named Jethro. So there's always these contradictions in the Bible. Is Moses' father named Reuel, or is it something else? People are saying, well, what could it possibly be? Even this article says, was Moses' father-in-law Reuel, or Jethro, or Hoab? Because in different parts of the Bible, it mentions him with 3 different names. So in Exodus 2, it has one name. Numbers 10:29 has a different name. Exodus 3:1 has a different name, and Judges 4:11 has a different name. And there's even a YouTube thing on here that talks about different contradictions in the Bible. One of them was called, "What is Moses' father-in-law's name?" Well, some people in the Bible have more than one name. Various people in the Bible have multiple names, and the reason for this depends on the person. Some, like Ahasuerus, is in Esther 1, are known biblically by one name, and in history by another name. For instance, his name was Artaxerxes in history. Other names is understood in 2 different languages. Some had their name changed by a ruler or authority, and some had their name changed by God himself. Like, for instance, you have Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Well, that's not their real names. They have different names. You also have Joseph's father, who was called Jacob, but then God changed it later to Israel. Or you have Abraham, that used to be called Abram. So they have different names. And also, if you have a different language, their name's going to be different in a different language. Abram had his name changed by God to Abraham, transforming his meaning from exalted father to a father of multitude. His wife Sarai, which meant my princess, became Sarah, which means princess. In Genesis 17:15, Jacob's name meant the heel catcher or deceiver, which changed to Israel, meaning God's fighter. In the New Testament, Peter means the ones who hears, and his name was changed to Caiaphas, meaning the rock by Jesus. Cephas, meaning the rock by Jesus. It was a play on words because Peter means a small rock, basically. So he went from being, a small rock to being a big rock or whatever, Sometimes a ruler or authority changes someone's name. When Joseph was sold into slavery and ended up working in Egypt for the ruler, Pharaoh gave him this name, Zaphdan-Pahai. Daniel was changed by Nebuchadnezzar to Belshazzar. Nebuchadnezzar was also changed the names of Daniel's friends to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in honor of the Babylonian gods. King Josiah's son Ecleam was changed to Pharaoh by Necho to Jekalem. Esther's name was Hadasarai originally and was changed to Persian to honor the god of Ishtar. Significant events sometimes cause the names to change. Gideon was called Jerubbaal, or let Baal contend, after he destroyed the false god's altar. Naomi changed her name to Mara, which means bitter, after her husband and their 2 sons died in Moab. And Mara is a form of the name Mary. Sometimes multiple names are simply due to translation. For example, Josiah in the English version is the Hebrew word for Jesus, and John is the Greek word of Jonah. And at times there's no explanation given for these people's names. For example, Moses' father-in-law is known as Reuel and Jethro. When Saul, which is a Hebrew name, meets Jesus on the way to Damascus, his name was changed to Paul, which was a Roman name, and we don't know why. He began using the name Paul exclusively for his first missionary journey, so it's possible that Paul had both names from childhood and used his Roman name to further he went into the Roman Empire. Revelation 2:17. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said to the churches. To him that overcomes will give to eat of the hidden manna, and it will give him a white stone, and the stone of a new name written, which is no man knoweth, save he that receiveth. So it's basically saying that, sometimes names change, and sometimes nobody really knows why. Exodus 2:19. And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. Do people who know you think you are of the world or of a child of God? This right here is a picture from a video. John 15:18. If the world hates you, you know that you've hated me before I hated you. If you were part of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust therefore. But he that doeth the will of God will abide forever. John 1:3:1. Behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because he knew him not. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doeth not ye appear what shall be. But we know that, when he shall appear, we shall be like him. For we shall see him as he is. And every man that has his hope in him purified himself, even he is pure. Romans 12. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to the world, but ye be translated by the renewing of your mind, that ye may provide what is good and acceptable and perfect the will of God. Is God pleased with the music you listen to? Ephesians 5 says, speaking to yourself in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melodies in your heart for the Lord. Is God pleased with the clothes that you wear? 1 Timothy 2:9. In like manner, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. Is God pleased with the words you speak? Ephesians 4. Let no man corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but which is good to use to edifying, that it may minister grace to the hearers, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of God. Wherefore you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor of evil speaking be put away from you, with all malice, and ye be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake has forgiven you. You know, there's actually a song called Be Kind to One Another. Is God pleased with what you watch on TV? Psalms 101. I will walk within my house with perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before thine eyes. Exodus 2:19. And as they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us to water the flock. So it's saying that, this guy's an Egyptian, and he helped us out. That doesn't usually happen. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? And why have you left this man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. And she bore him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by relief of the bondage, and they cried, for their cry came unto God by reason of their bondage. So we know that Moses was at least in this land for 9 months, because he had a daughter, because he married the guy's daughter and had a child. And so now this old Egyptian pharaoh has now passed away, and a new one has shown up. And God heard their groanings, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Well, guys, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to like, share, subscribe, share this with a friend, I really appreciate that. I'm going to put a couple links in the corners here. You guys can click on those. You can see what else I had to offer. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have yourself a great day.